The college basketball experience summer coaches tour for the Kent State Golden Flashes head coach Rob Senderoff edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going over to the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM today. Welcome, everybody, into the college basketball experience. Summer Coaches Tour. Coach Rob Senderoff. We got Maction over here over at the college basketball experience. I love this program. I love this league. And I always been a big fan of Coach Senderoff in his tenure there from 2011 till now, 264 and 164. Been to the big dance twice, and he's aiming to get there again next year. Runs a really good program, always a top 4 team in the MAC and always banging on the door to win Maction there in March in the city of Cleveland. I am Moneyline Mac, though, aka the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. Also known as Mac Tonight over here at the College Basketball Experience. Summer Coaches Tour continues on. Next chapter in the books, baby. We got Coach Senderoff coming on here in just a couple minutes. Just talked about his tenure at Kent State. He's multiple stints there. He was an assistant there. He was associate head coach there. He worked for Kelvin Sampson. He started as a manager at Alabama. Also was a GA at Miami of Ohio. Just his track record on how he got to where he is now. Worked for Jim Christian the first 10 year. Helped get this program established, and what we expect year in and year out is a top 4 team in the MAC and a chance for them to get to the dance. They've played in the MAC championship 3 straight years. Them in Akron. It's last time they lost. I joked with them last time they lost the MAC championship. They bounced back next year with a 28-7, got to the big dance and give Indiana everything that they could handle in March. So real quick, before we bring on Coach, let's talk about our proud sponsor over here at the College Basketball Experience. And, well, first off, the merch store, you got to go check that out. If you want the sweet hat, the College Experience camo style, use our promo code FOOTBALL. Like I said, I'd recommend getting this hat every single day of the week. Also got a College Basketball Experience shirt. You can get a little bit of everything over at our store. Plus, the football's kicking off, so go check out all the college football experience, Week 0 picks, and all 134 team previews. And, of course, we are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy right there. Promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit. Offer up to $1,000 bonus in cash. Underdog Fantasy, promo code TCESGPN. All righty, enough of me talking about it. Let's get right into it. The head coach of one of our favorite programs, and we love the MAC over here at the College Experience, is Coach Rob Senderoff. Here is Coach right now. And we continue our summer coaches tour on the College Basketball Experience with the head coach of the Kent State Golden Flashes, Coach Rob Senderoff. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Well, we appreciate it, and we love the MAC here over at the College Basketball Experience. So let's just talk about what you guys been up to this summer. I know November 4th is rapidly approaching.
Yeah, absolutely. So our guys just started school today for the fall semester. Today's our first day of classes, but we were here for 8 weeks during June and July, working out with our strength coach, playing open gym, getting with our coaching staff, our GAs, and trying to spend a lot of time in the gym, getting better, trying to develop some camaraderie amongst the group. As you know, nowadays you're trying to put a lot of new pieces together every year. So trying to spend a lot of time together with our guys and getting ready for this season.
And I want to talk about your current team here a little bit, but I want to rewind. You started your coaching career at Miami of Ohio, another MAC school, and then you went over to Fordham. Just talk about your early stages in the coaching career and when you knew you wanted to do this for a living.
Yeah, I wasn't a very good player. I've told this story a couple times. I got cut from a JV team at a Division III school where I went to college, SUNY Albany. The JV coach at the time, his name's James Jones, the head coach at Yale University, who's now been there for I think 20 plus years, and he was the guy who cut me. At some point, he ended up hiring me a few years later when he got the job at Yale. As you mentioned, I went to Miami of Ohio as a graduate assistant. The little different times there, in terms of how GAs were run. But Coach Sendek, Herb Sendek was the head coach. He left after a year. Charlie Coles was an assistant coach who became the head coach. The guys that I worked with during that time, Thad Mata was on staff there, Jim Christian, Sean Miller, James Whitford, a lot of really good college coaches. So I was around some great people to learn from. And during my time there, I mentioned Jim Christian was an assistant, and he ultimately brought me here to Kent State in 2002. So, my first assistant coaching job was at Fordham University. I used to work their camps during the summer when I was a student manager at Albany, and timing worked out that there was an opening there during one of the camps that I was working, and right when my GA ended at Miami. And then I mentioned that Yale University was my first recruiting job, and that I got hired by James Jones, who was the JV coach at Albany. And then when I came to Kent in 2002, the person that hired me was a guy that I was a GA on staff at Miami of Ohio when Jim was there. So throughout almost, my entire coaching career, people that I've interacted with, in different positions have given me the opportunities that have allowed me to now be the head coach at Kent.
Yeah, and Coach, you alluded to it, Coach Christian. You were there when he was the head coach from 2002 to 2006. Then you worked with Kelvin Sampson. A lot of good mentors. What are some of the things you took from every one of those guys that helped prepare you for the job you're in now at Kent State?
Yeah, Coach Sampson is to me amongst, if not the best college coach and team builder that there's ever been. So I was with him for 2 years, and just seeing how incredibly competitive, confident, and what he instills in his players and in his program are things that I certainly admire. Coach Christian, one of my closest friends. So I worked for him for 4 years when he first started coaching here at Kent. And then after he got let go at Boston College, he took a year off, and then he came back for 2 years and was here on our staff here at Kent. His perspective, he's an incredible offensive coach. He always has been, but just his perspective and balance in how he approaches things have been incredibly valuable to me as a coach. And having him as a friend / mentor, I talk with Jim almost every day about our team and now about his team where he's at Canisius. So I've had a lot of people that have helped me throughout the way. Geno Ford, another guy who I got let go at Indiana and was brought back here to Kent to work for him. Again, he's at Stony Brook, another one of my close friends who's also somebody I talk to about basketball almost every day, a guy who has tremendous balance in his life as well. So, each guy has had a huge impact in helping me, to get where I am, and then when you are in the position of being a head coach at a program, you want to have people that you really trust their opinion, that you can sort of bounce ideas and thoughts off of, because when you're working with 15 guys that are 18 to 23 or 24, there's situations that occur almost every day, and just trying to try to balance what you think might be the right thing for your program.
Absolutely. And Coach, let me ask you, you two different stints at Kent before you become the head guy. You guys had success under Coach Christian, under Coach Ford. You get the job in 2011. You guys win 20 games back-to-back years right off the bat. Do you think it was the continuity of the program, the culture that you guys have intact of the Kent State way, that led to you having success early on in your tenure there?
I certainly think so. And I think there's a lot of value, certainly at the mid-major level, to have experience at a program like ours. I did coach at Indiana for a couple of years, and there's a lot of differences in resources, and just support is a lot different at that level than it is at this level. So I think having the continuity certainly helped the transition here at Kent. Kent's got a unique job from a college basketball perspective, but just in general, having the experience of coaching at a place which is, doesn't have the best of everything. And we have some great things here. We have some great resources, but having had the experience like that, I think was really beneficial in my transition. And certainly helped us continue to have success here at Kent.
And of course, you've been there 13 years now. Let me ask you about the league you guys play in. So it's one of the most unique leagues. Of course, you got the football, the action, but that carries over into the basketball element too. You guys are so competitive. Everything's regional. You have one of the best conference tournament in Cleveland. We had Coach Bull and Coach Steele on, and I just asked them both about the kind of fraternity of the MAC coaches. Can you speak to that, of just how close that group is and the different styles you guys play night in and night out in that really good league?
Yeah, I think it is a really, really good conference. There's only one team that's going to go to the tournament almost, for 20 plus years. So you can pretty much say there's only one team going to go to the tournament, with a lot of really NCAA tournament with a lot of really talented, good teams. And I think, what you had mentioned, the location, us all having tremendous proximity to each other. 6 schools in the MAC are in Ohio, and then you have 3 in Michigan. You have 1 in Buffalo, obviously Ball State in Indiana, 1 in Illinois. But just having so many schools so close, during the summer when we're recruiting, you can almost have like a coaches meeting at some of these AAU games, because we're all watching the same kids, because our locations are all so similar. So, and a lot of guys, like you mentioned, Travis Steele was our video coordinator at Indiana when I was there. His brother is the head coach at Akron. Jeff Bowles, when I was an assistant at Kent, was an assistant at Akron before moving on to Ohio. So there's a number of guys in the league. The head coach at Eastern Michigan was the head coach here at Kent State. There's just a number of guys that are guys that I've known for 20 years in coaching. I've been doing this 30 years in coaching. And there's a tremendous familiarity amongst the coaches, amongst the teams, amongst the programs. And it's a grind, this league. It's a bus league. We're midweek, Wednesday, Saturdays, and Friday night they move games for national TV, but it's a bus league. It's a league where the players all know each other, because they're almost all from the Midwest region for the most part. And it's a really good conference. And of late, there was an era when I was a GA at Miami of Ohio and Jeff played at Ohio, that there was a lot of NBA players coming out of the league. and of late there have been a number of NBA players coming out of the league as well. So it's a really good conference.
It really is, and you've been there while teams have pulled upsets in March Madness. Coach Gross at Ohio, and then you've had guys that have been knocking on the door. You guys have been knocking on the door. Akron's been knocking on the door. Of course, Buffalo had success in the tournament too. Coach, let me ask you this: when I was a video coordinator at West Virginia, we played you guys, and it was always, oh man, we got to play Kent State. We know what we're getting. They're hard nosed. How do you go about your non-con schedule? Because you guys have won 60% plus of your games over your 13 years. Is it harder to schedule year in and year out with the new net and all those requirements?
I think now it's become really, really difficult. So my first game as a head coach was there was that 24-hour marathon, basketball marathon, and we played, and we were fortunate to win that game. So I should have quit right after that. I didn't realize it was all going to go downhill after that one. But at that time, getting a game like West Virginia, I think there was a lot of even though West Virginia didn't win that game, I think there was a lot of benefit for their program to play Kent State. And I still, again, I'm sitting in my shoes, so I still think there's a huge benefit for programs like West Virginia, or this year we play Alabama and Auburn from the Power 5 or Power 6 conferences. I know Nate, he'd play anybody. That's sort of how he was at Buffalo. And, I think he sees value in playing schools like us. And Auburn this year, we've played Houston a couple years ago. This past year we played Oregon. I think there's a value because two points that I'd make is, one, when you play in the NCAA tournament and you're Alabama, your first or second round matchup is going to be a school like Kent. So you can get really good experience for your team preparing for a game like that. And then two, I would make the argument that, is there a chance that they don't win that game? Like I said, we did beat West Virginia. Yeah, there is a chance, but that's not going to prevent those schools from making the NCAA tournament. In reality, what's going to make or break their ability to play in the NCAA tournament is how well they do. Now it's the Big 12 for West Virginia, or we're playing both Auburn and Alabama. How many games do they win in the SEC? How do they compete in their challenge games? Because the SEC, has a couple other BCS games. How do they do in their MTE? If they lose to Kent, it's not going to keep them out. It's going to be a bad night. They're not going to be happy that night. Yeah. But the value that their team's going to get in playing us, I think, outweighs that small risk in the game. And it's tough for us to get those games. Like it's tough. And the last couple of years in particular, as we've transitioned to the net from the RPI, it seems like with the quad 1, 2, 3, 4, that programs and in the power conferences feel even less need or desire to play schools like Kent or Akron or Toledo in our league, or Ohio. So we're doing everything we can. Like I'm of the mantra that I'll play anybody. We've played Virginia, we play Gonzaga, which again, it was a great game. Houston, we lost a really close game to Houston a couple of years back. Gonzaga, really close game. We lost to Virginia in overtime. We beat Texas a number of years ago. I'll play. To me, I want to play the best teams I can play. So we start asking, like I'll start asking here in September and October, trying to get games for next year. And I'd love to get a couple of those locked in as soon as possible.
All great points. And Coach, I mentioned it, just the success you guys have had during your tenure, consistent, discipline, hard-nosed. That's what I've always respected about your teams. Always well prepared, play really hard. You've done it in multiple eras. You guys were a consistent winner at the beginning, then in the middle. At the back end of your tenure now has been a different era with the NIL and transfer portal era. In the position where you are, How have you guys evolved as a staff during this new era where everybody's still trying to figure out what the heck's going on?
Yeah, it's interesting because that's a tough one too, and
Yeah.
I hope that we can continue to maintain, a successful program because it's certainly hard. It's hard for anybody. It's hard for, it's hard for Alabama to have tremendous success where they're competing. It's hard for Houston. It's hard for West Virginia, but it's certainly hard for schools that are outside of the Power Five that don't quite have the NIL resources that you might have at that Power Five level. And really what my theory all along, regardless of how things are, is I'm trying to do the best for my players that I possibly can, period. I'm trying to coach them the best that I can coach them, give them the best experience that I can give them as a player here at Kent State, provide the best resources that we can provide here for you at Kent State, and make it tough for you to want to leave, and make you want to come back when you're done playing. Like one of the things that I really like about being here and having been here as long as I have, my whole staff is former players. I have a number of guys that come back during the summer that are still playing professionally, that come back to work out here during the summer when they're home, and just trying to create an atmosphere that is tough for people to want to leave once you become a part of it. And, we had our leading scorer this past year transferred, but I had a number of other guys that could have transferred that chose not to. And the atmosphere that we've created here has allowed me to recruit good players, to replace those that graduated or left. So, we're going to keep trying to do the best we can do for our players and for our program. And I also understand that, NIL is a huge part of guys making a college decision and or staying or leaving. And we're trying to do the best we can do with that. The portal of not having to sit out, changes the dynamics of, maybe being patient or maybe waiting your turn a little bit, so to speak. But we address that, every day with our coaching. We're just trying to coach our team and our roster the best we can and give these guys the best experience that we can give them here at Kent.
Absolutely love to hear it. I'm fired up for the season, Coach. November 4th will be here before we know it. I want to leave you one last question. You've taken a bunch of the time. I know school started this week, so you got to get back to work. You head into year number 14 of your era at Kent State, and you guys look to get back to the big dance. What's your message for Kent State fans headed into this 24-25 season?
Yeah, we've really emphasized the date, which is 3/15. That's the date of our conference championship game this coming year. We've been in the conference championship game 3 straight seasons, which I think has happened like 3 or 4 times in the history of our conference. As you know, and everybody knows, like we lost a heartbreaker of all heartbreakers last year to go to the NCAA tournament. So, everything we've talked about since that end, and we've recruited a lot of new guys and brought guys back, spent the whole summer, and everything that we're building towards is trying to get ourselves back to that date. So, that date is 3/15. I wouldn't normally know today when the conference championship game is next year, but right now I do. I've known it, took me a couple of days to get over last year, but from that point forward, that's been what we've been sort of, getting ourselves ready for, and understanding. I have a mature group and an older group, as a lot of teams do now. Like there's a lot that goes into a lot of luck, a lot of work, a lot of things that go into getting yourself back there. But that's our whole goal, is to try to get ourselves back to that night and hope that we can finish it out this year if we're fortunate enough to play that night.
All I know is last time you lost the conference championship, you won it the next year.
Right.
So let's continue that trend,
so
right?
Let's hope that happens again. That would be pretty good, Ryan.
Well, I'm fired up for the MAC. I'm fired up. I hope to see you guys there March 15th. It's one of the best conference tournaments. Every
Yeah.
game is chaotic, comes down to the wire. Nothing like action on the hardwood. Coach, thank you so much for stopping by the college basketball experience. Best of luck this season, and definitely look forward to having you back on.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Ron.
Thanks, Coach. Coach Rob Senderoff of the Kent State Golden Flashes. Action, baby. If you're a college basketball fan, you respect and you appreciate that Kent State program. Like I said, man, they over the last decade plus, heck, go the last 20 years when he was an assistant coach with Jim Christian. They've been a consistent, tough out every single year in the MAC, and they will continue to be as long as Coach is there at Kent. So they got the right guy leading the program. We've had Coach Bowles on from Ohio U. The Bobcats, they're always good in the MAC. We had Travis Steele of Miami of Ohio. Go check out all those episodes, fans. And make sure you go check out college football fans. I know it's a college basketball show, but we're doing the MAC team previews right now. I know they did the Ohio Bobcats. I think Kent State is either today or tomorrow with Colby and those guys. So make sure you go check that out. Let's get out of here and pay the bills on the way out because we are brought to you by Circa Surviving Circa Millions, baby. Don't have your trip booked for this upcoming weekend in Vegas. There's still time. Use the promo code SGP15 to save you 15% off August 22nd through 24th. Sign up today in person between now and September 7th with the proxy to play from anywhere, or you can play in our proxy, proxy.footballcontest.com to save you $50 off with the promo code SGP and get a free hat today. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm, baby, is back bigger, better than ever for college football and NFL season. Build your models over there. I think I like those Yellow Jackets week number 0. So get on over there. That game is Saturday. Getting too many points, in my opinion. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And last but not least, we're brought to you by Game Time. Use our promo code CFBX to get all access to the Game Time last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Yeah, Game Time's the best, man. They shoot your seats right to your email. You get it on your phone. Boom, no obstructed view. Save a couple bucks with inflation being up. Promo code CFBX for $20 off. Download that Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Back on the college basketball experience. Shout out to Ryan Hasty in the chat, man. I appreciate it. I looked today. We have released 27. We got 6 already recorded that will be released tomorrow. Coach Andrew Wilson of VMI. And then Friday, Monte Ross of North Carolina A&T. And then we got 5 more releasing next week, Monday through Friday. And then we're recording later this week with a couple guys and next week as well. Like I said, man, we're going to have you covered all the way up till November 4th with these coaching interviews. And then go check out Noah Beanick and I breaking down all these preseason tournaments. Kent State's in a good one as well, an MTE. So we broke down our top 10. We also broke down the Maui field. The Battle for Atlantis just got released as well. Go check out the Ryan and Russ show. We broke that down from the West Virginia side of things. They gave us Gonzaga. So, hell of a draw to start for DeVries and company. But, hey, man, it's November. Can't get here soon enough. After Labor Day, we're going to be 60 days out from college basketball. I know we are in the middle of college football, like preseason stuff. And I love college football as much as anybody, but you know where my bread and butter is, baby. College hoops will be right around the corner. Can't get here soon enough. Go check out all our shows. We all come together as one on youtube.com/ecollegeexperience. That's all I got. We're back tomorrow night with Coach Andrew Wilson of the VMI Cadets. Thank you, Coach Senderoff and the Kent State Golden Flashes program. Maction, baby, Maction. This has been another edition of... Where are we at? There we go. Cheers, everybody. Enjoy your Wednesday evening. And let's go, Kent State. Maction, you better start thinking about yours. And we are out of here.